imagine this. You are, like, paying $16,000 a month for a Manhattan apartment.
Right, which is already insane.
Completely unhinged.
Yeah.
And you are entirely funding your parents' mortgage. Plus, you're paying for your mother's luxury car.
Oh, the financial anxiety is literally suffocating me just hearing it.
Exactly. And you are currently having a full-blown mental breakdown on your velvet couch because you have to edit a 15-second TikTok video.
It is the absolute definition of a generational identity crisis, just playing out in high definition. And honestly, I am entirely here for the mess.
Babes, welcome back. We love you. We see you. And we are officially back in reality.
Barely. Like, physically, my body is sitting in this chair with you right now, but mentally, I am still floating somewhere over the Mediterranean.
Oh, absolutely. I will say, to the Snark Squad right now, we have the largest possible iced coffees on deck.
Literally massive. Because after traveling, caffeine is not a beverage. It's basically a medical necessity at this point.
It is a survival tool. If I do not have this iced coffee, I will simply dissolve into dust right here in the studio.
100%. And we really have to talk about the Italian food extravaganza we just experienced because, I mean, I am still dreaming about it.
Oh my gosh. The restaurant I went to on our last night, I ordered that truffle rigatoni. And when I tell you, I practically levitated out of my chair.
It was a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Like, we ordered 3 different pastas, this ridiculous charcuterie situation, and 2 desserts that I couldn't even pronounce.
But we absolutely demolished them anyway.
Obviously. And we convinced ourselves, you know, as you have to when you're out of the country, that it was all completely worth it.
Well, yeah. There is a very specific delusion you enter when you cross an ocean. Like, vacation carbs simply do not count.
No, it's science. The molecular structure of pasta in Italy is just different.
Exactly. Your body just absorbs it as pure joy instead of calories. You're sitting there looking at a plate of cacio e pepe, and it just feels like a warm hug for your soul.
It really is impossible to regret Italian food. But then, you know, then you have to actually get home.
Ugh, don't even remind me. The travel chaos. Getting home was an emotional roller coaster that I was just not strapped in for.
The flight delays alone. I mean, we were sitting in that terminal for what felt like 3 consecutive lifetimes.
And the airport stress. There is this very unique type of panic that sets in when you are watching the gate agents pace around.
Yes, when they start whispering to each other behind the desk.
Oh, I hate the whispering. You just know your flight's about to be pushed back another 2 hours.
And then, when we finally board, the carry-on struggles. I was literally fighting for my life, trying to get my bag into the overhead bin.
Well, that one guy in the business suit was just aggressively sighing behind you.
Right. Like, I'm sorry my tiny suitcase is ruining your Tuesday, sir. Traveling is basically paying thousands of dollars to be treated like an absolute inconvenience by everyone around you.
It's so true. Which actually perfectly leads into the question I really need answered today by you and the Snark Squad.
Oh boy. What is it?
Because the second I got back, I unpacked, I looked in the mirror at my exhausted face, and I immediately took like 7 different supplements.
Oh, I saw you rattling those pill bottles.
Right. So I have to ask you, do vitamins actually work, or are we just expensive little gummy addicts?
Okay, I am so glad you brought this up because the wellness industry has an absolute chokehold on me right now.
Totally. I am currently taking ashwagandha for stress, magnesium for sleep, some kind of weird marine collagen for my skin.
What, does the collagen actually taste good?
No, it tastes like swamp water, but I mix it in my smoothie. And then I have these biotin hair gummies that taste exactly like Swedish fish.
See, exactly. And do you notice a difference, or are we just creating this very expensive candy habit masked as health?
Honestly, half the time I think I am just funding the wellness industry based purely on TikTok hype.
I mean, same.
I see a beautiful influencer tell me that liquid chlorophyll will fix my entire life, and suddenly my credit card is just out.
We are so easily influenced, but, you know, you want to believe they work.
I do. I really want to believe I am biohacking my body back to factory settings after that awful flight.
Oh, for sure. But honestly, the only thing that actually brought me back to life was that spa day we booked to decompress.
Oh my goodness, the spa day. My body was in full rebellion after sitting in that tiny airplane seat for 10 hours.
We are definitely getting to that age where you sleep slightly wrong on a plane.
Yeah.
And you suddenly need physical therapy.
Oh, absolutely. The deep tissue massage I got was aggressive, but so necessary.
Same. And all the skincare treatments.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so funny because You leave the spa feeling completely zen,
Right, like a new person.
and then the reality of adulthood hits you on the Uber ride home. Like, do spa days actually reset you, or do they just make you realize how desperately you need another vacation?
Oh, that is so real. Adulthood is just a perpetual cycle of recovering from being tired.
Literally.
Yeah.
You get tired, you rest, the resting makes you realize how tired you actually are, and then you have to go right back to work.
Speaking of which, tomorrow we are both back in the clinic.
Ugh, yes. Back to the glamorous world of dentistry. Back to our respective clinics.
Okay, as a fellow dentist, you have to tell me, what is the one thing you are looking forward to this week, and what is the biggest challenge waiting for you in this schedule?
Okay. Um, what I am looking forward to is actually seeing a couple of my favorite long-term patients.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, there's just something really grounding about catching up with people you've treated for years. But the biggest challenge,
Let me guess. It involves a lot of drilling.
yes, I have 3 crown preps back-to-back on Tuesday morning, and I already know my lower back is going to be screaming. What about you?
Okay, well, the funniest thing that happened recently, right before we left for Italy, I had a patient swear up and down that they floss every single day.
Oh, they always do.
Right. Meanwhile, their gums are basically crying out for help. I just had to look at them and say, the gums do not lie.
They literally never lie. It's like a crime scene in there sometimes.
Exactly. And the thing I need to mentally prepare for this week, honestly, is just the physical toll. Hunching over all day is no joke. I really need that magnesium for my muscles.
It's so true. The posture struggle is real. But babes, I think we've talked enough about our own chaos.
I am so ready.
Let's get into New York. Because somehow, these people have even more drama than our travel schedules, and their cavities are entirely moral and social.
Oh my God, yes. I have been literally vibrating with excitement to talk about this. Season 2, Episode 3, The Man in the LED Mask.
This was so good.
We watched this, we immediately texted each other in all caps, and I am so ready to unleash all my opinions today. Let's just start right in the thick of it.
Yes, let's talk about the actual business of being a Gen Z reality star.
We absolutely have to unpack Emira and Georgia.
We do. Because what this show is doing right now is giving us a masterclass, like a highly dysfunctional masterclass in what the modern creator economy actually looks like.
Yes, and Emira is the perfect place to start because her storyline is incredibly dark when you actually peel back the layers.
So dark.
She is paying $16,000 a month for her New York apartment. Now, pause. $16,000 every 30 days.
That is just, it's unfathomable.
That is not just wealth. That is a suffocating amount of overhead for a 20-something whose entire income relies on a social media algorithm not changing its mind.
The financial stakes are staggering for her.
Mm-hmm.
And we see her on her couch, physically exhausted, just looking completely hollowed out.
And she's crying.
Yeah, she's crying to her mother, Kuzia, about the intense pressure of being a full-time content creator. And it's not just the 16 grand rent.
Oh, no, it's so much more.
She bought her parents a house. She's paying their mortgage. She is paying 2 car notes, one for her mother and one for her own pink Jeep.
And when her mother sees her stressing out over editing this video, she just casually suggests, why don't you just hand it off to someone else? Hire an editor.
Which is standard advice.
Right. But Emira absolutely refuses. She says it wouldn't be authentic. She tells her mom she feels this crushing need to be successful so the family can rely on her.
And then Fuzia offers this reassurance that Emira doesn't have to do so much for them.
Which is so rich.
Exactly. As everyone online immediately pointed out, that rings incredibly hollow when you were delivering that speech inside the living room of the house your daughter just purchased for you.
All the Reddit threads were losing their mind over this scene.
They were. The group chats were screaming like, did you tell her to stop working before or after she handed you the deed to the house?
Right. But this is where I want to really get into it. Emira represents the crushing reality of being your own product. Like, you can never clock out.
No, never.
But I actually want to push back on the idea that she is just this helpless victim of the creator economy.
Oh, okay. Let's hear this hot take.
I hear everyone saying she is trapped, but let's be real here. Isn't she just a ruthless capitalist?
I mean,
Like, Emira has this intense, uncompromising mindset about money. Later in this very episode, she suggests that her friend Georgia should go into business with her literal bitter enemies.
oh, I remember that. Purely to capitalize on a stolen idea.
Exactly. Emira cannot fathom letting personal feelings, loyalty, or even sanity get in the way of securing the bag. Why? She is not trapped. She is greedy. She is choosing this level of stress because she wants the empire.
Okay, I definitely see your point, and she certainly has a shark mentality. But I have to push back on your pushback.
Do it.
Is it pure greed, or is it just a trauma response to the precariousness of influencer fame?
Trauma response.
Yeah. I look at Emra, and I honestly see the modern-day equivalent of a 1930s child star.
Wait, what? Explain the mechanics of that, because that is a wild comparison.
Think about it. Think about the 1930s studio system. The studio owned the child star's time. It dictated their image, and the parents lived off the proceeds, right?
Right, like Judy Garland.
Exactly. She is a digital Judy Garland. The dynamic is structurally the exact same for Emra, but the mechanism has evolved. In 2026, there is no studio boss.
Okay, so who is the boss?
The algorithm is the studio boss. The algorithm owns Emra's time.
Oh, wow. That is chilling. The algorithm as the studio boss.
Right. And what makes it so insidious is that Emra actually believes she is the CEO of her own life.
Right, she thinks she's in control.
She tells her mom she can't hand off the editing because it wouldn't be authentic. She has internalized the demands of the platform to the point where she equates extreme self-exploitation with artistic integrity.
Oh my God.
She thinks she's in charge, but she's really just a highly paid employee of TikTok, terrified that if she doesn't feed the beast herself, the money for her parents' mortgage will dry up.
Self-exploitation as artistic integrity. That is so incredibly bleak and unfortunately so accurate.
It is.
She literally cannot separate her self-worth from her output, which actually makes the contrast with Georgia in this episode so absolutely unhinged.
Right, yeah.
Because if Emra is the exhausted workhorse, Georgia is the delusional, cynical side of influencer branding.
Georgia is operating on a completely different planet right now. We really have to unpack this business meeting she had.
Please do.
So Georgia is fresh off this massive drama where she claims her idea for a nightlife brand called Club was stolen by her ex-boyfriend Omar and his friend Charlie.
Right.
So what does she do? She decides her passion for nightlife is just magically over.
Naturally, because when you lose one idea, you obviously pivot to something completely unrelated and absurd.
Exactly. So she meets with a brand consultant and her best friend Cooper, and she declares with full seriousness that she is investing her own life savings into a Gen Z cleaning brand.
I couldn't believe my ears.
And she is calling this brand, YUCK, with an exclamation point.
I paused my TV. I literally had to pause the TV and walk around my living room. She wants to sell a multi-surface antibacterial spray called YUCK.
It's so bad.
And they're sitting there brainstorming scents, right? And they suggest pumpkin spice latte, Mexican food, and musky. A musky kitchen counter spray.
It is surreal. It's like a fever dream. But the most glaring irony, and the entire internet, every recap, every single social media thread caught this instantly.
Yes, let's talk about the irony.
Georgia is notoriously, proudly, aggressively pro-germ.
She refuses to wash her hands. She has admitted this on camera multiple times. She doubled down on it.
She really did.
She literally coughed into her elbow during this very episode just to prove she doesn't care about hygiene.
So we have a woman who refuses to wash her hands attempting to launch an antibacterial spray.
Make it make sense.
I have to break down what she is actually trying to do here because it requires understanding a concept called white labeling.
Yes, explain this to the Snark Squad because this is exactly how the influencer sausage gets made.
So white labeling is when a manufacturer creates a generic product like a basic cleaning spray, and then different companies or influencers just buy that generic product and slap their own custom label on it.
Right.
It's how like 90% of influencer brands are born. Georgia isn't in a lab mixing chemicals. She's trying to buy cheap soap, slap the word yuck on it, and sell it to her followers for a huge markup.
But to choose the one thing you famously despise, like hygiene, it makes no sense.
None at all.
Unless, is this entirely a cynical play just to get camera time?
That is the big question. Because during the after-show fallout, Georgia actually tried to defend this.
Ow, how do you defend that?
She claimed that her not washing her hands wasn't a big factor. She said she wanted to do something in the influencer rebrand space that hadn't been done.
The influencer rebrand space, that's not a real thing.
I know. And she explicitly admitted that when she talks to investors, she can't just say, I have a good product. She needs a powerful story. So she is literally leaning into her season 1 hygiene drama to pitch investors.
She is calling her own refusal to wash her hands investor relations. The delusion is truly breathtaking.
She is viewing her own documented gross flaws as brand IP to be monetized.
Unbelievable.
In the reality TV ecosystem, having a business venture is just a vehicle. It gives you a reason to have meetings on camera. It gives you a reason to host a launch party for the finale, and it generates conflict.
Right.
Whether the musky Mexican food spray actually sells at Target is completely secondary to whether it secures her a contract for season 3.
It is the ultimate fake-it-till-you-make-a-plotline strategy.
Exactly.
But the audience is just not buying it. The social media comments were ruthless.
Oh, they tore her apart.
People were saying, like, you know, if you don't wash your hands, at least make a hand sanitizer line and sell them as cute bag charms. Lean into the joke.
Would have been smart.
But instead, her own castmates were looking at her in sheer disgust. Like, on the after show, none of them said they would ever use it.
And this highlights how the definition of authenticity has completely fractured for this generation.
Totally.
Because for Emra, authenticity means doing the grueling, soul-crushing labor herself until she cries. For Georgia, authenticity just means acknowledging that the brand is a joke.
Right, she thinks she's in on the joke.
Exactly. She thinks by naming it YUCK, she is being meta and self-aware. She thinks the joke is the selling point. But she forgets that the consumer still has to actually want their house to smell good.
Nobody wants a kitchen that smells like a musky burrito. It's gross. But George's delusions of grandeur don't just stop at cleaning products. Oh, no.
We have to talk about the gatekeeping.
We have to talk about her door policy.
Yes. This was a massive revelation that spilled out online and infuriated the rest of the cast.
Too messy.
Georgia gave an interview basically saying that most of the people in her current friend group on the show would not have been invited to her parties back in the day because they can't pay their way in.
The audacity. Ava, Amira, Riley, Ariana, they were all absolutely furious.
And Georgia's defense only made it worse.
Oh, it always does.
She claimed it was just standard New York door policy. She literally instructed her door person not to let anyone in wearing high heels with bodycon dresses.
Which is half of New York?
And she admitted that she would look up the guest list on Instagram, and if someone worked in finance, she would just cross them off the list.
It is the ultimate exercise in gatekeeping. And the hypocrisy is staggering because, as the internet quickly pointed out, she claims to despise finance bros, but she routinely dates crypto guys.
Exactly. A crypto bro is just a finance bro who doesn't own a suit. It's the exact same energy.
It really is.
What this reveals is the currency of exclusivity. Georgia doesn't have Emira's massive $16,000 a month income. She doesn't have the raw capital.
Right.
So she wields social capital by controlling who gets behind the velvet rope. If she can make other wealthy people feel excluded, it gives her a false sense of superiority.
It is so incredibly messy. And while some of these cast members are trying to build these bizarre corporate empires and curate velvet ropes, others are just trying to build IKEA furniture in their new apartments.
Yes, the geography of this episode.
Which transitions us perfectly, because geography is destiny in New York. And on this show, real estate is basically being used as a weapon, a shield, and a signaling device.
Let's talk about Ariana.
Yes, so Ariana has officially broken up with Hudson.
Finally.
And Hudson is handling it exactly how you would expect a wealthy 20-something guy with zero self-awareness to handle it.
Oh, it's so cringe.
He is immediately posting Lamborghinis and expensive watches on his Instagram to flex his single status.
It is so aggressively cliche. I get secondhand embarrassment just looking at his stories. It really is. Meanwhile, Ariana is physically removing herself from his orbit. She takes the ferry from Manhattan to move into a new place in Dumbo, Brooklyn.
Which is a huge move.
The visual storytelling here is actually brilliant. Think about what moving to Brooklyn signifies for a Manhattan reality star. The recaps online were comparing Ariana taking the ferry to a Gen Z version of the 1980s movie Working Girl.
Oh, I love that comparison. Explain that for the Snark Squad who might not have seen an 80s movie.
So, Working Girl has this iconic imagery of Melanie Griffith taking the Staten Island ferry into Manhattan to conquer the corporate world. It represents crossing the water to change your life.
Right.
Ariana is doing the reverse. She is fleeing the superficiality, the bottle service, and the toxic crypto bro energy of Manhattan and Hudson.
Which is so valid.
Moving to Brooklyn, even a highly gentrified, insanely expensive part of Brooklyn like Dumbo, signifies a genuine desire for grounding. It is a total rejection of Hudson's aesthetic.
And waiting in the wings of this geographical shift is Liam.
Liam.
Now, Liam is a newcomer, and he is a walking, talking Pinterest board.
Literally.
He is a multi-hyphenate. He's described as a cowboy firefighter who rides horses, writes scripts, and rides a motorcycle.
He is the ultimate I have hobbies guy.
Exactly. And he sees an opening. He asks their mutual friend, Shai, to set up a group hang,
essentially double date with beer pong, specifically so he can get closer to Ariana.
So strategic.
And during this hang, Liam executes what might be the most masterful reality TV strategy I have ever seen.
Like surgical.
So Ariana is complaining about her new apartment and her lack of closet space. Liam doesn't offer to buy her a closet. He doesn't flex his wealth like Hudson would.
Cool.
He immediately offers to come over and build her IKEA closet with his own hands in exchange for taking her on a motorcycle ride.
Which is such a specific, highly targeted counter-move to Hudson.
It's brilliant.
Hudson's brand of wealth, flaunting the Lambos, the watches, feels incredibly dated to this generation. It feels try-hard and empty.
Totally empty. Liam is offering acts of service. Building furniture implies reliability, it implies he is grounded, and it projects a type of masculinity that isn't dependent on his credit card limit. He is positioning himself as the soft boy antidote to the toxic ex.
But here is where I really need your take because my snark alarms are ringing.
I'm listening.
Is Liam actually this wholesome or is he incredibly calculated?
Oh, that's the question.
He famously does not have a talent agent. Pursuing the newly single, highly popular lead star of the show is literally chapter 1 of the reality TV playbook. Is he a sweet guy or a reality TV sniper?
The online sleuths are entirely on your side with this one. The consensus is that Liam is highly calculated.
I knew it.
He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that Hudson is the villain right now, and the easiest way to secure screen time and fan favor is to play the knight in shining armor.
And poor Shai is caught right in the middle.
Shai was so stressed.
Shai looks completely panicked during this beer pong game because he knows Hudson considers Ariana his territory. Shai knows that Liam is actively hunting for that spot.
Yeah, you can see the sweat on his forehead.
At one point, Shai just looks at the camera and ominously says, "You know what building furniture means."
Shai is just trying to survive the season. He is terrified of crossing Hudson's alpha energy.
Oh, for sure.
But speaking of geographical disconnects and relationship chaos, we absolutely have to talk about Gia. Because while Ariana is embracing Dumbo, Gia has moved out of her family home and into her own apartment in Jersey City.
Okay, the Jersey City commentary. I had to rewind it 3 times to make sure I heard her correctly.
It was so embarrassing.
She is walking down the street in Jersey City looking around, and she sincerely remarks that it feels like the West Village.
The West Village. The delusion is at an all-time high. It is a masterclass in sheltered thinking.
I nearly choked on my iced coffee. The West Village. But the real disconnect isn't just the real estate, it's her relationship.
Let's talk about Christian.
Yes, Gia is dating Christian. Now, Christian is not an influencer. He does not sell musky spray. He has a real blue-collar job. But Gia barely understands what he does.
She literally calls him on camera to clarify what his profession is, and she surmises it's something like junk removal demolition.
The podcasters online were dragging her for this.
As they should.
In New Jersey, especially in Italian-American families like Gia's, working in demolition or real estate construction is a massive cultural staple.
It really is.
It is a highly respected, lucrative field. The fact that she has been dating this man and cannot articulate what he does from 9 to 5 is baffling.
It just highlights the extreme bubble these reality TV royalty kids live in. The internet actually loves Christian.
They do.
They praised him for having a real job, paying his own bills, and not trying to mooch off Gia's fame. But it creates this fascinating tension.
How so?
Gia wants to be seen as an independent adult in her new apartment, but she is completely detached from the everyday reality of how her own partner earns a living. She is playing house.
That is so true. She is totally playing house. And just to cap off the surreal nature of their living situations, we have a quick scene with Rowan.
Oh, hello, Rob.
Rowan is quickly becoming my favorite because she is so unbothered. She's hanging out in her apartment, and her mother just casually scuttles through the kitchen, and her mother happens to be Brooke Shields.
Yes. And the contrast between Rowan and Ariana is hilarious. They bond over having famous mothers, right?
Right.
But Ariana's mother is Kim Zolciak from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Rowan's mother is Brooke Shields, an iconic Hollywood actress and model.
The internet noted that comparing Kim Zolciak to Brooke Shields is like comparing a reality TV catchphrase to Hollywood royalty.
But what's amazing is how grounded Rowan is. She just graduated from college, she's writing a feature film,
And she treats her incredibly famous mother with this loving, slightly exasperated teenage energy.
She literally tells Brooke Shields to get a facelift on camera, and Brooke just looks so confused.
She's fantastic.
But babes, all of this underlying tension, the who is dating who, the socioeconomic posturing, the question of who is acting for the cameras and who's being genuine, it all violently explodes when the cast decides to divide and conquer for the weekend.
Yes. Let the chaos commence.
Yeah.
We have 2 gender-segregated nights out.
Let's start with the men and what we will forever refer to as the red light district breakdown.
The red light districts.
Right.
So Christian, the blue-collar boyfriend, decides he wants to spearhead a boys' night. And the pregame is hosted by Brooks at his apartment.
Now, Brooks is a very unique character.
Brooks is the son of Meredith Marks from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And he has inherited a very specific, highly manicured way of engaging with conflict.
Or rather, completely refusing to engage with it.
Exactly. So we find Brooks hosting this pregame, and he is sitting in his apartment wearing a full-head LED red light therapy mask.
He looks like a glowing, pulsating space helmet.
It was terrifying. And he is casually serving homemade sourdough bread with creme fraiche and his mother's caviar.
While wearing the mask.
Right. And he is already dreading this night because Charlie is invited.
Now, Charlie is the undisputed antagonist of this friend group. Last season, Charlie was involved in a massive scandal that the internet refers to as the crypto torture house incident.
Such a wild storyline.
Charlie has a reputation for being ruthless, messy, and totally unfiltered.
But before the boys even make it to the bar, the train jumps the tracks. And it is entirely because of Gia. Gia activates her reality TV superpowers and becomes the ultimate bone collector.
Okay, yes. For the Snark Squad who might not know the reality TV terminology, please explain the bone collector trope.
Okay, so the bone collector, which is a term famously coined on Real Housewives of Atlanta, is the person in the group who quietly gathers all the toxic gossip, the secrets, the off-camera texts, and then strategically drops them at the exact right moment to cause maximum destruction.
All while keeping their own hands clean.
It is an art form, and Gia executes it flawlessly.
Walk us through it.
So Christian had texted Gia earlier, complaining that Charlie warned him to make sure Brooks keeps his name out of his mouth. Gia sees this text. Does she ignore it?
Of course not.
No. She immediately pulls Brooks into a bathroom off camera to whisper this threat to him. She deliberately passes on a toxic text to stir the pot, and then later in her confessional, she acts completely shocked that the producers caught the audio.
She knew exactly what she was doing. She is absolutely learning the ropes from her mother, Teresa Giudice.
Oh, 100%.
You drop the bomb where you think the cameras can't see, you act innocent on camera, and you let the fallout drive the narrative for the rest of the episode.
So the boys, already tense and paranoid, head to this bar, and the aesthetic of this bar is just grim.
It was so depressing.
It is aggressively lit with black lights. Everyone looks slightly purple.
And Shy is sitting in the corner looking like a terrified hostage who is just hoping nobody remembers he's there.
Poor Shy.
And Christian is physically clutching a heavy cross necklace on his chest, literally texting Gia that he regrets organizing this.
And then Charlie and Brooks finally face off.
And this is where the meta-narrative of the show really breaches the surface. Charlie comes in hot. He makes several comments that were widely condemned online as mean-spirited and honestly slightly homophobic. He calls the group the Boys plus Brooks and refers to Brooks as an aging gay man who won't be a party gal forever.
Which is incredibly rich considering Brooks is in his early 20s.
Right.
It was nasty, it was below the belt, and Charlie clearly wanted to wound him.
But amidst the insults, Charlie delivers a read on Brooks that the entire internet had to admit was highly accurate.
He really did.
Charlie points his finger and accuses Brooks of curating a fake, boardroom-ready persona for the cameras.
Charlie says that Brooks is acting like this upstanding, church-going tracksuit model, strictly to protect his Brooks Marks resort wear brand.
Yep.
He says Brooks is terrified of looking bad for his business rather than being the fun, messy guy he actually is in real life. Charlie literally says, you used to be the guy who threw up in the club and now you're an old snooze.
And how does Brooks react to this massive confrontation? He completely shuts down. He stares blankly. He literally pulls out his phone and starts texting the girls across town to complain. He refuses to engage.
Classic Brooks.
So I have to ask you, and the Snark Squad, if you sign up for an unscripted reality show, isn't disengaging the ultimate sin?
Yes.
Brooks is acting like a politician at a debate who refuses to answer the moderator, while Charlie is the heckler throwing tomatoes. The heckler is highly annoying and offensive, but at least the heckler knows what show he's on.
That is the core frustration with Brooks as a cast member. The viewers online were pointing out that Brooks hasn't earned the right to use his mother's famous "I'm disengaging" catchphrase
Right.
because his mother actually gets activated and fights first.
Exactly. You can't disengage if you never engaged to begin with. You're just ignoring people.
What Brooks is doing is trying to use reality television solely as a QVC channel for his clothing line.
Oh, that's such a good way to put it.
This is the difference between the first generation of reality stars and the second generation. The parents leaned into the messiness because it made them famous. The kids have grown up seeing the consequences of cancel culture.
Right. They have PR training.
Exactly. Brooks refuses to give the producers or the audience any emotional vulnerability or authentic conflict because he views his personality as a brand risk.
That makes so much sense. He is terrified of brand risk.
Yes. And Charlie, for all his profound toxic flaws, is trying to produce a television show. He is trying to force Brooks to drop the mask, both the literal LED mask he was wearing earlier and the figurative corporate brand mask he wears in public.
And it completely fails. The boys' night is so awkward, so tense, and so devoid of actual resolution that the guys ultimately just abandon Charlie at the bar.
They just left him.
They literally run out the door to get a cab to crash the girls' night, leaving Charlie sitting there by himself.
Which is a stark visual metaphor for how the group treats Charlie. He is the necessary villain they use for plot and then just discard.
So true.
But little did they know, while they were silently suffering in a blacklit nightmare, the girls were having a much louder, much messier meltdown across town.
Oh, let's cross the city to the girls' night rampage.
Please.
Gia has brought this group together for drinks, and right out of the gate, we get a conversation that perfectly delineates who is a real New Yorker and who is just playing one on TV. It is the great subway debate.
Yes. So Georgia starts telling a story about a woman she saw on the subway standing in this wide gorilla stance so she wouldn't have to touch any of the poles.
Which is actually a very smart strategy.
Totally. But this prompts Riley to look at Georgia with absolute disgust and ask the group, how many of y'all actually take the train?
And Rowan, our grounded, unbothered queen, tells this quirky, zany story about seeing a flasher on the subway and how she just took it as a compliment because he chose her to flash.
Rowan embraces the gritty, unpredictable reality of the city. But Riley is horrified. She declares with utter disdain that she would never be caught dead on the subway.
And the internet tore her apart for this.
As they should.
Because claiming you are a New Yorker but refusing to take the subway is peak transplant behavior. It is the biggest red flag.
It is the ultimate red flag.
I need the Snark Squad to hear me on this.
Yeah.
Claiming you live in NYC but refusing to ride the train is like claiming you love swimming but refusing to get wet.
Perfect analogy.
You are just standing on the pool deck in a designer swimsuit, judging the people actually doing laps. If you won't take the subway, go move to Jersey City with Gia.
Oh, drag her. But it reveals exactly how Riley views the city. She doesn't see New York as a living, breathing ecosystem with culture and diversity.
No, not at all.
She sees it purely as a VIP playground. She views the city through the tinted windows of an Uber Black, and this elitist attitude bleeds into her interactions with the rest of the women as the night goes on and the alcohol flows.
Oh, the alcohol definitely flows. Riley orders a Cosmo and a shot right away, and she begins a relentless, passive-aggressive campaign against Georgia.
It's hard to watch.
Every single time Georgia speaks, Riley rolls her eyes, sighs, or makes a face. She aggressively interrogates Georgia about her hygiene, loudly asking, "Are you washing your hands?"
The commentators online brilliantly compared Riley in this scene to a hissing, angry cat.
A cat?
Yeah, one podcaster called her the final boss of female cats, who just sits in a corner and hisses at everyone who walks by, even her own food.
That is so accurate. It was incredibly intense. You could feel the negative energy radiating through the screen. But the real main event of the night isn't Riley versus Georgia.
No, that was just the warm-up.
The main event is Riley versus Ava.
Yes. The tension has been building all night. Riley and Ava pull away from the main table to go to the bar. Riley attempts to confront Ava about her tone.
Right.
She feels that Ava speaks to her differently than she speaks to Ariana and Gia. She accuses Ava of being demeaning and dismissive.
And Ava, in her defense, tries to have a moment of solidarity. She says they are both straightforward, strong-willed people and they shouldn't take things personally.
Which is a very mature response.
But Riley is heavily intoxicated at this point. The cosmos and the shots have taken over and the conversation devolves into absolute belligerence. Riley loudly demands another shot from Ava.
And Ava gently, almost playfully asks, Where's the please and thank you?
And Riley snaps. She loses it. She looks Ava dead in the eye and says, "You expect me to say please and thank you to you? Don't ever ask me to say please and thank you. We're not doing that."
It is a breathtaking display of pure ego. What we are witnessing here is a massive clash of titans, but not in a good way.
What do you mean?
Both Riley and Ava are second-generation reality and music industry kids. Riley's the daughter of Candy Burroughs, a Grammy winner and Real Housewives of Atlanta legend.
Yep.
Ava is the daughter of music mogul Dame Dash. Neither of them is willing to yield the alpha position to the other.
Isn't this just a classic proxy war, though? They are both holding on to grievances from last season.
Oh, dear.
Ava made some shady comments about Ariana's fashion line last year, and Riley felt marginalized by the group. They are masking this deep-seated power struggle as a petty fight over bar etiquette. The please and thank you has nothing to do with manners.
Absolutely. The please and thank you is just the catalyst. What Riley is really saying in that moment is, you are beneath me and I will not show you deference.
Exactly.
She refuses to submit to Ava's framing of the situation. But the audience reaction to this has been swift and brutal.
Yeah.
Last season, Riley was widely praised. She was the voice of reason. She called out microaggressions in the group.
But this season,
viewers are noting that she is aggressively steering into the mean girl edit.
the live threads were on fire during this scene. People were saying she channeled the intense, confrontational, take-no-prisoners energy of her grandmother, Mama Joyce.
Oh, the Mama Joyce energy was strong.
And the debate raging online right now is whether she is just self-sabotaging with the alcohol or if the polite mask she wore in season 1 is slipping, showing her true, spoiled colors.
It is a classic cautionary tale about the reality TV sophomore slump.
Explain the sophomore slump.
In season 1, you are hyper-aware of the cameras. You try to present your best self. You want the audience to like you.
Makes sense.
By season 2, you get comfortable. The ego inflates from the fame, the alcohol lowers the inhibitions, and the foundational personality traits in this case, a deep sense of entitlement and a refusal to back down, come rushing to the surface.
And that is exactly where the episode leaves us. The boys are fleeing their blacklit nightmare in a cab to merge with the girls, who are currently imploding over a shot glass at the bar.
It is a masterpiece of terrible decisions converging in one location.
Which is why we need to transition into some specific categories to really wrap our heads around this chaos.
Yes. Babes, it is time for our favorite segments. Let's start with the NYC Main Character Award.
Okay, out of everyone in this sprawling, messy cast, who gets the award for this episode?
Honestly, I think I have to give it to Liam.
Liam, the closet builder. Explain why.
Think about it. He came in as the underdog, the outsider, without a PR team. And within one episode, he identified the power vacuum left by Hudson, targeted the most popular girl on the show, offered practical manual labor which completely disarmed everyone, and secured a one-on-one date while making the rest of the guys look like terrified children playing beer pong.
That is a flawless argument.
Right. Whether he is genuine or a master manipulator, he drove the entire romantic plot of the episode. He is the main character.
I was going to give it to Rowan just for existing in the same airspace as Brooke Shields and being completely unfazed. But you're right. Liam played chess while everyone else was playing checkers.
Checkmate.
Okay, next segment. Red flag or just young? I will give you a scenario. You tell me if it's a deep personality flaw or just the result of being 20-something in New York.
I'm ready.
First up, Georgia's strict velvet rope door policy banning finance bros.
That is a massive red flag. Yes. Being young in New York means you might invite too many people to a tiny apartment and get a noise complaint. Actively curating a guest list based on LinkedIn profiles to make yourself feel superior is a deep-seated insecurity and a major character flaw. Red flag.
Agreed. Okay, what about Emira? Emira paying her parents' mortgage and car notes while she cries over editing TikToks at age 22. Red flag or just young?
Oh, this is fascinating. For Emira, it's just young. She is young, successful, and feels a cultural and emotional obligation to provide for her family. She hasn't learned boundaries yet.
Right, she's still figuring it out.
However, for her parents, massive red flag. Allowing your 22-year-old daughter to fund your lifestyle to the point of a physical breakdown is wild.
The parents are definitely waving the red flag. Okay, next segment. If we lived in NYC, if we packed up our dental clinics tomorrow and moved to Manhattan, what is the reality?
Well, first of all, our dental practice would have to be on the Upper East Side.
Yeah.
And
We would exclusively cater to reality stars who need emergency veneer repairs after biting into olive pits at zero-star Michelin restaurants.
Oh, the veneer repairs would keep us wealthy. My dream apartment would have exposed brick, a view of something other than a brick wall, and the ultimate New York luxury in-unit laundry.
The dream.
But what would immediately humble us?
The humbling moment would be paying $8,000 a month for that apartment, only to walk out the front door and make eye contact with a rat carrying a slice of pizza larger than my head.
Pizza rat.
That is the New York equalizer. You can wear all the Brooksmarks Resort wear you want, but the subway rats do not care about your brand.
The rats run that city. Finally, let's do our next week's NYC predictions. What is your biggest prediction for the fallout of this episode?
My biggest prediction is that Liam's true colors are going to show. I think the soft boy act is going to crack the second Hudson actually confronts him.
Oh, the tension.
The friendship most likely to change is definitely Georgia and Riley. You cannot hiss at a woman for an hour and expect to share an Uber home.
My chaotic theory.
Hit me.
I actually think Georgia is going to launch the musky Mexican food spray. Someone on the cast is going to use it. It's going to ruin their marble countertops, and it will be the central lawsuit of season 3.
That is the most unhinged and entirely plausible reality TV theory I have ever heard.
I know my reality TV.
Yeah.
Babes, this episode was a masterclass in the extreme lengths these young adults will go to for personal branding.
Truly.
We saw Georgia willing to humiliate herself with a YUCK cleaning product just to have a storyline.
Right.
We saw Brooks suffocating his own personality under an LED mask and a veneer of corporate professionalism.
We saw the absolute exhaustion of Emra funding her family's real estate at 20-something while trapped in the content creation machine.
It's so sad.
And we saw the brutal, uncompromising social hierarchy of New York City where your worth is judged by whether you ride the subway, what zip code you move to, and whether you can get past a velvet rope.
It all comes down to curation. Everyone on this show is desperately trying to control their narrative. But reality television, by its very nature, is designed to break that control.
That breaks you.
The harder they try to curate, the more spectacularly they fracture. So, Snark Squad, I want you to think about your own life for a second. We all curate our feeds. How much of our own social media presence is really just a low-budget version of Brooks sitting alone in his apartment, hiding behind a mask, trying to project perfection?
And if a camera crew suddenly started following your friend group, who would be the Charlie? Who is the person willing to throw the bomb and state the uncomfortable truth, even if it makes them the villain?
That's a good question.
And who would be the shy? Just quietly gripping a beer cup, terrified of the crossfire, and just trying to survive the night intact.
It's a terrifying thought experiment, but it leaves us with this final lingering question to mull over. We tune in to watch these kids because they have a pedigree. They are the literal offspring of reality TV royalty. But when you look closely at the intense anxiety, the broken friendships, the desperate reliance on alcohol to cope, and the absolute desperation to maintain a monetizable brand at age 22, are we actually watching a glamorous passing of the torch? Or are we just watching the generational trauma of reality television play out in real time?
That is the question of the season.
Something to think about while you're scrolling through your perfectly curated feeds today. Snark Squad, we want to hear from you in the comments. What is your absolute favorite Italian dish that you would risk it all for?
Tell us.
Do you actually believe your vitamins work, or are you just eating gummies? And what is your ultimate spa day treatment? Let us know.
Thank you so much for listening and getting messy with us today. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with another messy babe in your life.
Stay fabulous, stay chaotic, and we'll see you on the snark side.